Well, hey guys, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new here. If you are new here, my name is Crystalline, but you can call me Chris, and we chat all things mind, body, and planet on this corner of the internet. And today, welcome to my ultimate spring cleaning guide. It is the perfect time of year to assess your consumption habits, to think about how are you gonna organize that pesky closet, or maybe it's time to go through the junk drawer. Now, I just moved, so I've already condensed down a lot of my items, but now I'm in the phase of organizing how to keep things in order, how to make sure things don't get messy all the time. So I have gathered some spring cleaning tips, and we're just gonna do it together. We're gonna do a little bit of cleaning together. I'm gonna share with you my tips because we're in this journey together. The first thing you gotta do is you gotta reframe the idea of spring cleaning. Spring cleaning sounds daunting because some people view it differently. Some people think it's more of decluttering. Some people view it as just a deep clean of their home. Some people find it a good time to revamp and maybe redecorate some of the spaces that they live in. But for me, and what I'm recommending to you, I'm not saying you have to do it, but it's just an interesting little mindset shift that I've found really helpful and a little less daunting, is focusing on intentional living. So using spring cleaning as a method to look around my house and see what are the things that can make my life better without having to throw out everything or just donate a bunch of stuff that I'm gonna end up buying again because I'm gonna want it later down the line. Because yes, I've been there. I've been notorious for doing that in the past. Spring cleaning should be a focus on making things feel clearer, to feel like things bring joy rather than a bunch of chaos. The best way to start something like this is going room by room. You want to start with one room at a time. You start with taking inventory of that room. What's in that room? Maybe go corner to corner. Is there a bunch of clothes on the ground? Is there a cluttered pile, mess, paper clutter sitting on the counter that's been bothering you that you just haven't had time to go through? Once you kind of have an inventory of what you have is when you can start to organize by category. Now, everyone's categories are going to be a little bit different. I usually like to kind of group mine based on how often I use them. So for example, in my kitchen, I have the silverware kind of close to the dishwasher because once they get washed, I want to put them away and I don't want to walk a bunch of steps from the dishwasher to the cabinet or the drawer that they're living in. You can also organize your categories based on type. So if it's a craft room that you're going through, you can organize all the ribbon together, all the yarn together, etc., etc. I found that taking inventory of my space and then organizing based on what I find in that space and just going room by room really breaks it down into this more manageable, more approachable way of spring cleaning. Obviously, you're not going to be able to do an entire house in one day. This is kind of a multi-day process or maybe multi-weekend process that you can do. So if you just focus on one room and say, by the end of the day, I'm going to finish spring cleaning this one room, then that's great. That's amazing even. Now, if you're focusing on decluttering this spring, I want to offer you one of my biggest little pieces of advice, and that would be the 1 in, 1 out rule. It sounds just like it is. If you're bringing something into your house, you gotta remove something from your house. This goes for my chronic over shoppers out there, my people who like to just stroll through a Home Goods and just be like, oh, I'm not gonna buy anything. And then you end up buying a bunch of things and you put it in your cart. And then you get home and you're like, okay, what am I gonna do with these random decorative bowls that I bought at Home Goods, you know? However, if you come at it with a little bit more intention and you're like, okay, I'm walking through Home Goods, I found a giant candle that I really, really want. When you bring that candle into your house, maybe that's a sign that you look around and you're like, okay, I have this other decorative bowl where I can put this giant candle. I am going to take the decorative bowl, I'm gonna either put it in storage, or I'm gonna see if one of my neighbors or my friends wants the bowl, or I'm gonna donate the bowl because 1 in, 1 out. You don't need to just accumulate a bunch of stuff. I also wanna invite you to think about your consumption triggers. So going back to the candle, if you find that you are always buying candles when you're out, to the point that you have so many candles, you don't really even light the candles, they're more like decorative pieces at this point, and now you have a whole closet filled with a bunch of scented candles that you don't even use. Maybe it's time to take a step back from buying candles. If you can recognize that there are certain things you always end up buying when you're out, candles, books, crafting supplies, kitchen gadgets. Take note of what those triggers are, and then give yourself some time to not buy those. Either do like a no buy challenge, do like 1 month, no buying anything, focus on committing to using up what you already have. Or you can do my favorite, which is make a wish list. My wish lists are not just like Christmas wish lists. Wow, that is a hard word to say. My wish lists are just a place where I can list all of the things I've ever thought to myself, I want that. So if I'm scrolling Instagram, I see an Instagram ad for a new pair of shoes, I put those shoes on my wish list. If I am on Amazon because I needed something or whatever, I'm just scrolling to look and I see a cute top, I throw that top on my wish list. I'm not going to just impulsively put it in my cart, check out, purchase it right then and there. I'm gonna give it a 7-day waiting window. And the 7-day waiting window has done me wonders. Do you wanna know why? I will tell you why. It's because by the end of the 7 days, when I look back at the items I put on my wish list, 90% of the time, I don't want them. I do not want them anymore, so I just take them off. Like they were just random things that I randomly was like, yes, I want this, when in reality, I didn't even want it. It was just an impulsive thing I wanted in the moment. So if you feel like spending is something that you wanna get a little better about doing, I recommend starting a no buy challenge. I'm in the middle of a no buy year this year. It's been a little bit complicated. I've learned a lot along the way in this no buy challenge on what I actually spend a lot of money on. And for me, it's a lot of eating out, but I wouldn't have known that if it weren't for doing a no buy challenge. So I highly recommend it. I have a couple videos on my channel about my no buy challenge experience, and I think I'm due for an update soon, so I will have to film one of those very soon. And I also created a Notion template that you can use to track your no buy rules, your patterns, your tracking of your spending, along with exercises and journaling prompts to help you along your way to make sure you're getting the most out of your no buy challenge. I use it myself. I found it really helpful, so that is why I'm now offering it to you guys as a template. Spring cleaning doesn't have to be daunting. It can definitely be manageable, and it doesn't even have to be in the spring. Like I said, I do mine in the summertime. Sometimes I even do them around like the back to school phase. I feel like I really think September is a fun space to really revamp and like get your life together and a little bit more organized. But for the sake of this video, we're calling it spring cleaning. And it's best if you go room by room. You take inventory, then you categorize it and organize based on the type or how often you use the items. And then of course, there's the other aspects of spring cleaning as well. If you are working on decluttering, or if you feel like you're constantly buying and bringing new stuff into your home, that you can take into account as well, like my wish list idea, or even following the rule of like the one out and the one in. Okay, I also want to offer just a couple of other decluttering tips, because I feel like we really fall into this idea of everybody needs their own, but I want to remind you that you can always borrow things. You can borrow clothes from your friends, you can borrow a lawnmower or like a weed whacker from your neighbor, or even like a blender or like a cake pan. Borrowing is always an option. I find that more often than not, people are more than happy to let you borrow something. Just take good care of it and remember to give it back at the end. Another thought is, instead of buying like these really niche, unique kitchen gadgets, focus on buying things that are more multi-purpose items, things you can use for more than just one task in your house or your kitchen. I love a little multi-purpose item. I use a Swedish dishcloth. I talk about it all the time. I use a Swedish dishcloth to not only just wipe down my counters, but you can use them to wash your dishes. You can use them with cleaning supplies as like cleaning rags around the house. I mean, really, multi-purpose items are where it's at. And I feel like sometimes we get tricked by the marketing gurus and we're like, oh, we need this very hyper-specific juicer, but we never make or drink juices in our house anyways. So you probably don't need it. Get a blender instead. And of course, quality over quantity. If you have nicer items that you take care of that will last you a really long time and are well made, versus having a bunch of items that are not well made and then you're gonna have to repurchase them time after time after time because they continually break and they just aren't made to last. Well, which one's better? The quality. The quality over quantity is key. Those are just a couple of the things I've learned along the way in my decluttering, spring cleaning, minimalist. I'm not even a minimalist, but I try. Okay, that's the goal. I don't think I'll ever be a minimalist, but you know, it's trying to keep the minimalist mindset. But those are the things I have learned along the way. So I hope you like this video. If you feel like you've gotten something out of it, like the video, you can subscribe for more. Like I said, we talk about all things mind, body, and planet on this corner of the internet. If you have any spring cleaning tips that you feel like you live by and you need to share, drop it in the comments because I'm curious and I want to know what you guys are doing. And I will see you guys in the next video. All right, bye.